Well, hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great day today. Welcome to Wednesday's edition of Take 5. We're breaking down the message that I preached on Sunday entitled Perfect Peace in the Storms of Life. Colossians chapter 3, verse 15 said, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts." That's what's supposed to be in control. The peace of Christ, that is supposed to arbitrate and govern all of our emotions and superintend them and keep them under control. That's what's supposed to be doing it. Excuse me. And that is something that it seems that so many Christians everywhere are missing. I want you to understand we're going to have problems in this life, sinner and Christian alike. We're going to have trouble in this life, but when troubles come, we don't have to fall apart and lose our mind. We can honestly have peace while everybody else is falling to pieces if we will just put this peace of Christ into action and let it rule. This perfect peace that grows with us and in us as our faith is tested and tried. I really believe that the wisest person is the one that when is in the midst of the storm doesn't pray for safety from the danger, but prays for deliverance from the own fears that they have on the inside. Because it's the storm that is inside that is more dangerous than the storm that is outside. Yeah, all the emotions we have and the fear and all of the chaos that comes up, all of that stuff is way more dangerous, that stuff inside, than the storm on the outside. And that's why Jesus wants us to understand this concept of peace. And that's why he took the time in the early parts of his ministry with the disciples to teach them about this peace and letting it rule in their hearts and in their circumstances instead of being controlled by their fears and their frustration. There was a time when Jesus, Mark chapter 4, Jesus had been teaching the multitude there, and he told them, let's get in the boat and let's go to the other side. He didn't tell them what the journey would be like. He didn't tell them that halfway there they were going to get in a storm like they'd never seen. And most of us, if God were to tell us these kind of things, we'd never start the journey in the first place, would we? So he just said, let's go to the other side. And when he said that, that meant these guys now had a heavenly promise that they were going to make it, because Jesus said, let's go. He told them nothing about it. He just said, let's go. So they've got this heavenly promise now. Jesus is with them. God's ordering their steps, and they're obeying, divine instruction. So with all this, they should really not ever have 1 ounce of worry or fear, right? Yeah, but God gives us all instructions like that and gives us all commands to go from A to B, to go to the other side. And how often do we find ourselves afraid right in the middle, forgetting that He gave us a divine destination, He gave us a divine promise, and that He's with us every step of the way. We do that instead of walking in that peace that He intends for us to have. When you read this story from Mark says it this way, that a great windstorm just arose. Luke said a storm come down on them. And all this means, coming from two different men, is that this storm comes suddenly and without warning and without reason. And that's how most storms in our life come. They come without warning. They come without reason. They just show up, bam, out of the blue. All it takes is a phone call, a text message. All you have to do is find yourself in a different situation, wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and bam, there you are, right in the middle of something that you did not even know was coming. And this should let us know that there are going to be storms in our life, and most of the time that's the way they will come. Well, the disciples now run to the back of the boat, and they find Jesus asleep, and this took their anxiety to another level. What is the matter with him? Why is he asleep? Doesn't he realize that all of this is going on? They seem to have forgotten that they're in the same boat that he's in, and if he can't perish, then they can't perish. And they've forgotten that when Jesus is in the boat, you can weather any storm. He never promised to take you out of it, friend, but He did promise to take you with it every step of the way. He promised to ride with you all the way. So we've got to decide in life right now, regardless of what's happening today, tomorrow, or 10 years from now, we've got to decide that we are okay anywhere and through anything. As long as Jesus is there, we're going to be okay and live in that peace He wanted them to have. These guys ran back there, and again, Mark records, and they said these words, "Teacher, don't you care that we're perishing?" They asked a question. When Matthew wrote about it, it was like an angry demand. "Lord, get up and save us. We're about to die." And then Luke, it sounds like a cry for help. "Master, Master, Master, we are perishing." Imagine, if you will, 12 different men running to the back of this little ship. They have 12 different voices, 12 different responses, 12 different opinions. Some of them are afraid, some of them are upset, some of them are angry. And the reason for all of this is because they've exhausted all of their efforts and knowledge and resources to no avail, and now they need Jesus to save them. The Sea of Galilee was known to these men greater than any area of the world. They had worked and traveled in these waters all their lives and no doubt had faced many storms, and that seemed to be the problem because the intensity of this storm was not like anything they had ever seen. You know, that's how life gets us when we just bop along, kind of on cruise control. And well, I've been here before. I've done this before. I've experienced this before. I've lived this. I know how to handle it. And then bam, a storm comes from nowhere on you. And it's really come just to stretch your faith and to test you is the only reason it's come. But we get afraid, we get nervous, we get upset because it's something we've never experienced before. And instead of letting the peace of God rule in our heart, we let our emotions take over and we fall out into fear and anxiety, frustration, and anything else that you can imagine. When these disciples found themselves facing an obstacle they had never seen, they soon forgot about God's promise to go to the other side. And that's what we cannot do. We cannot forget about this. We can't do it. We can't. They forgot because they were afraid. They forgot because they were angry. They forgot because they had never seen anything like this before. They forgot because they were in jeopardy, friend. They forgot because the storm around them got in them. And that's why that peace is there to keep that storm from getting inside you. And the very reason that God allowed this to happen was so He could teach them about the peace that He wants them to live in. And He does the same thing for you and me. When they come into our life, it's to prepare us and to teach us that we can live in peace. Just like Jesus was sleeping in that storm, we can rest in all of the rage and havoc as well because we have that promise to go to the other side. Hey, I've got to get out of here. It's been good being with you today. I look forward to being with you tomorrow on Thursday's edition of Take 5. Till then, God bless you. Have a great day. Hey, trust the Lord, my friend. He will never fail you.